Hey guys, and welcome back to another Unfiltered Gamer board game review. And today's game up on the tabletop is Monster Hunter International Miniatures board game. This is by Everything Epic. It's a two-player game. It takes 60 to 90 minutes to play, and it's for ages 14 and up. And in the game, you are playing a tactics game. It is a 4-character versus 4-character 1v1 type game where you're going to be able to place your characters on one side of the board, and your opponent will do the same. And you'll play in one of the many different game modes that they allow you to play. They have quite a few of them actually that you can choose from. By looking through the rulebook, it'll list a number of different modes, whether it be the artifact mode or the ghost mode, or whether it's just going to be the all-out brawl mode. And there's other ones as well. But the main objective for pretty much all these modes is to defeat all your opponent's characters, with secondary objectives or not. You will be taking 2 actions per character, ending the character's actions for the round, and the player will then take the next turn that is opposite of you, and they'll choose a character to take 2 actions and back to you until all characters have been utilized, in which case all of them will go back from not ready to ready, and you will continue. Your actions on your characters are going to be attacks. They'll have a passive ability, they'll have skills that you can choose to utilize that may become disabled, and there's also going to be an energy aspect to the game, where once you hit a certain threshold of energy, based on whether it be an attack or passive aspect to the game, you will use a unique ultimate ability for each character. There are 4 different factions. This one provides you with 2, and you can choose to play pretty much with any characters that you'd like, or faction versus faction. It's really up to you based on the characters you can choose from. And most disputes or confrontation is settled with rolling 3 attack dice. We'll talk about how to set the game up, how to play, and then of course whether you should pick up the game Monster Hunter International right now. So the setup for Monster Hunter International is basically the most standard, straightforward tactics game on the market. It's pretty straightforward. If you understand tactics, you understand how this works. Place the board down, flip it over if you'd like, add terrain, tile pieces or not, utilizing Everything Epic's up zone set if you'd like, which is what I have here on the table, or not. It's really up to you. You just can add an element of extra gameplay, whether it be high terrain, low terrain, areas in which you can block yourself in, or just simply playing with the board as it is, or using the terrain that the board kind of allows you to have. Choose characters. You go back and forth choosing characters. Each character is going to have a miniature or miniatures and a board, or a double-sided board, and then basically their health, defense, and movement. They're also going to have their gauge at the bottom, which is for their ultimate attack, and then their actions, passive abilities, and basic attacks that you can choose from. And that's how all the characters kind of function, with their own unique sets of style to them. They're definitely all unique characters in how they choose to work, and I'll explain kind of that in the review aspect, but there is a wide variety of characters and how they are going to be used in this game. Each character, or player I should say, is going to select a character to be placed on their side of the game board, either the left or the right hand side. I'm playing here and you're playing over here. I'll place one character on my side of the game board, and you will do the same anywhere along the side, the very edge of the game board, until you have all 4 characters placed. Make sure that when you make a board, if you do, if you'd like, depending on who you're playing against or how experienced you are, you want to try and make the game as balanced as possible with terrain pieces so that it kind of feels like each side is balanced in some way. Add a little differences if you'd like. I kind of set one up like this because it feels a little balanced, and I added in the artifact game mode. And as far as setup goes, you're literally just placing the board down, placing your characters down, and before that, if you want, you can make the board however you'd like. I'm not going to explain making the setups for the game. There's a card, I believe, that has some different setups and locations where you can spawn at, but it's kind of a DIY type of a setup. You choose how your placement works for the most part, especially when it comes to additional stuff that doesn't include Monster Hunter International, like the upzone tiles. Once you have done that and you have a character board for each of your characters, go ahead and give each character a ready, not ready token, as well as make sure that you have the health and energy tokens set somewhere within reach, your attack and defense die within reach, and if you're playing with any status effects, bonuses like boosts, as well as any specific decks that you'd be playing with, there are a wide variety of different unique aspects to the game. Like you can play the ghost mode where the ghost moves around and you're trying to capture the ghost and bring it back to your side of the game board, or the artifact mode where you'll be placing these artifacts down within reach of all players, kind of balanced. And when you pick them up, you'll gain an ability, and you'll be trying to gather them all or defeat your opponent's characters. There's also, of course, some unique bonus character abilities that you can gain when you defeat your opponent's characters. There's a wide variety of things you can kind of pick and choose to add to the game mode. Set those aside or use them, it's really up to you, along with any tokens and stuff like that you would need. And that's the setup, that's it, that's how Monster Hunter International works. Okay, so how to play the game? Well, this is your standard tactics game, and I mean standard, like you are going to be playing it like a lot of other tactics or dungeon crawls. How it works is you are going to get 2 action points on your turn, and you have to choose a character to use those 2 action points. Each action must be taken separately, one at a time, and non-conflicting. Your typical actions are going to be to attack, or to move, or to use an ability. And the abilities are set aside in kind of, it's like a bracketed black area, whereas your attack actions are separated in a bracketed gold area. And then your movement is listed on your chart here, whether you have your health, then your defense, and your movement. That is the number of spaces that you can move. So for instance, on my turn, I could choose to use Julie here. She can move 5. So my first action could be to move 5. She can move diagonal. That's a unique aspect to the game. And you can actually use, there is a little ruler that the game comes with for movement. So you can actually take this if you'd like and do so, or not. You can just play the grid system basic way and go 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 and move your character in. And that would be your movement. You could stop at any point. But once you do, that ends your movement action. Your action point has been spent, and you get your next action, which is typically going to be to use an ability or attack. Each character has a unique sort of aspect to them, like gnomes will drop gnome tokens, they can move gnomes interchangeably and stuff, and Julie is kind of like the medic, where she can heal allies within range, but she can only use the ability once every other turn. It kind of like exhausts her ability so that she can't consistently use this heal. Characters like Earl are able to transform into a werewolf after gaining enough energy, and thusly also changing their character model. And there's obviously more different abilities with each of the characters that present some unique challenges and changes to the style of play based on your squad. So maybe, for instance, since there's no enemy near me, maybe I'll just simply move again. I could go ahead and move 5 more spaces into the map, and that would be my turn. I would go ahead and take my ready token, turn it to not ready on Julie, and my opponent would get to go. And they would move twice as well, most likely, placing their character in, making their character unready, and I would then go back to my turn, using another character, choosing another one, and doing the same thing, placing him somewhere, and passing. And that's exactly how the game goes. Rinse and repeat up until all of the actions have been turned to not ready, in which case now all of them get turned back to ready, and the same is said for the other player. Sometimes characters might have extra actions or extra turns. If that happens and all your characters are not ready, but they still have characters that are ready, they will use them until all of the characters have been not ready. And then you'll start again with the player who was the previous player to go, or the next player to go. So if you went last and your character was the last one to be not ready, I would be the first person to go on the next round. Rinse and repeat. If your character falls below 0 health, your character has been defeated. You'll remove that character from the game board as well as any of their bonuses and abilities. And once all your characters are removed from the game, you lose. If you're playing with any of the modes, like the artifact mode, where you'll take the artifact token, look through the deck and find the symbol that is the same as the artifact that you gained, you'll get that and give that to your character and they can utilize that artifact. And if you get all your artifacts, you will win, or by defeating your opponent's characters. The Ghost is a character that will start somewhere in the middle of the game board and have its own unique deck that will activate through the rounds, and thus moving around until somebody grabs the Ghost and takes them back to the other side of the game board. And that's another way to win the game for that specific module. I'm pretty sure you can pretty much add all the modules if you want, or none of the modules. It's really up to you as to how the game Monster Hunter International is going to work. It's a very simple, straightforward style tactics, like RPG type game. Okay, is that all to talk about? Pretty much. There's other things, but that's how the game works. So review time. Well, I mean, I didn't really cover how combat works and stuff, but it's so simple. I'll do it during the review, I guess. Basically how it works is there's a range, maybe it's 1, maybe it's 5, and that's the same as movement, how that works, where it's omnidirectional as long as you can see the person within line of sight. You'll take those dice, you'll roll those dice, you'll check your hits versus your opponent's defense, which they will be on their game board. They will roll those, take all their dark defense symbols, and add those up there's a special ability action, and if your character has one, they might get to do something like re-rolling a die or getting an extra die or something like that, and then you'll add them up. Okay, I got 3 defense, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 offense, 7 minus 3 is 4, thusly I'll take 4 damage. Is my character still alive? It is. It stays on the board. If not, it goes away, and that's combat. There are a number of different, and this is where I can cheat and pretend like I can add it to the review portion, right? Because there are a number of different abilities that function with attacks, and while all attacking is the same thing, it's the range, and then how many dice you roll, and then the ability aspect if you roll an ability symbol or your character has that ability aspect. There's also cover defense, which is the little white symbol on the die, and if you are in cover when attacked, you can add those defenses up as well. If you don't roll them and you're in cover, it doesn't really matter, and you still get hit. So there's a way where you can kind of stay in cover and roll defense, and it's all cover defense, and it counts. But if you're out in the open and you roll only cover defense, you're just getting hit, right? You can't really avoid it. And that's a kind of a unique aspect of combat that I did really like. And I like the fact that each character has a number, or most of them have a number of different combat abilities. Whereas Julie here, she has a sniper where she can shoot 7 to 9 range. It's really long, and it's 4 dice. This attack gains +3 maximum range if Julie is in cover, and an extra die roll if the target isn't in cover. So a very long, very strong attack. She's a weaker character, lower HP, but a high range and high attack damage, especially when your target is out in the open and you're hidden. And then she also has the M1911A. This is, you can spend an additional action as you use this attack to get +2 more dice to roll, and it's a 1 to 5 and a 3 roll. But it could be a 1 to 5 and a 5 roll for that. I don't know if I'd like the sniper better. It really just depends on how far away your enemy is, right? And then flashbang. It's a 1 to 5 with 0 rolls, but a target a space within range. Enemies within 2 spaces of the target gain a debuff. It's blindness, and this ability gets exhausted for a round. So she can deal with players close up by blinding them and taking one of these tokens here. Here it is. Let's see what this is. It called blindness? It is called blind, yes. So you can't use range attacks, and this character turn ends, and as this character turn ends, remove 1 blind. So you can stop players from shooting at you as Julie when you get close within range. And that's just her attacks. That's just what her attacks are. That's not including the first aid kit that you can use as an action point that will heal a player within 3 spaces up to 3 health. She's also silent as a passive ability, meaning that she gets 2 defense while defending against attacks made by enemies 6 or more spaces away. So snipers are good against this sniper is good against other snipers. And then you have your ultimate ability here, where whenever Julie deals damage to anything, she gains a energy token. And when she has 3, you can spend 2 actions to immediately heal half of the damage on Julie, rounded down. As Julie's next turn begins, you'll heal the same amount of damage on her again. So she has a double heal. Even though she has low health, she has a way of healing other players and herself whenever, I guess actually the heal can work both ways. She can do a heal on herself, hardcore, and then the health kit can go to either or within a range of 3 spaces. She is a strong tactical advantage character, and that's just Julie, right? I'll go for another one. So the characters and the design for the characters are really cool, right? This is Earl Harbinger, right? He has the dual M1 Thompsons. He does 3 to 6 range with 4 attacks, and the first time this attack resolves each turn, you can immediately use it again without spending an action. Its rolls become the amount of damage dealt the first time it was used. So you roll 3 hits, you roll 3 dice again. And also specials give you a +1 roll. He's also got 3 passives, so no other attacks, no other abilities, but his passives are allies that are adjacent get defense. He can't be moved by enemy effects, and he's considered to be 1 space closer to enemies whenever checking for range for their attacks. And his special ability is Full Moon. When he gets targeted by an attack, it doesn't matter if he gets hit or not, he flips into the King Werewolf and has a bunch of new stuff that he can now do, as well as an ultimate once again. So flipping between his special modes and, of course, his werewolf form of himself when he ultimates. And each character has unique ultimate aspects to them, and each character has its own faction. Like this is the MHI. They're kind of like the Men in Black, and then they have like the enemy bad guy, the horrors, right? And they have their own faction as well. And I think there's 2 other ones as well that you could play with in the game Monster Hunter International. This is based on some IP. I'm not aware of the IP, so I can't tell you too much about it, but it does come with a lore book and goes into details with all the different characters and the battle aspects and the story of the game, and it's pretty cool. I like all that stuff, and I really like the idea of creating your own terrain. This is a generic, standardized tactics game as far as the rules go, but what makes it unique is the ability of customization, the unique aspect of each of the characters, and the simplicity of it all, as well as a bunch of additional game modes. All right, I'm done fluffing. So what else, right? Well, this game has a lot of errors in it. There are like misprints on some things, like the 3-gnome Monty Ultimate is explained poorly on this card. The idea is whenever he, the gnome brigade, he moves, he places a token down, he move again, place another token down, and you can move these characters around with him as though they're extra little gnomes. And if you hit the gnome, he takes damage. Otherwise, he kind of doesn't take damage, and it's not explained. It's like typos, right? And then the 3-gnome Monty is when he ultimates, you'll place 3 gnomes down, and your opponent will pick one. And if they pick you, you don't do damage. Otherwise, you do double damage, but it's also explained wrong. And there's like text challenges in the Monster Hunter International book as well. Like, things could have been better fleshed out with this game when it comes to the rulebook and the lore book, and even some of the different abilities on the characters. And it's pretty obvious. It's pretty almost blatant, in fact. I'm not going to say criminal, but it comes close. And I really wish they did a little bit more due diligence when it came to the rules and the lore book and the characters, when illustrating how their abilities work, explaining them better, maybe adding a section in the rulebook or in the lore book, explaining the abilities better than they do. They kind of explain how they work and like what the character is designed to do, but not exactly what the ability does and why. But I was able to piece together from the lore book and the character what the ability was supposed to do as opposed to what it actually read as doing. I won't cover all that. It's too minutiae to do so. The character miniatures are nice. They work well. You can determine what characters are what. As far as the different artwork is displayed, the artwork is fine. I like it. It works. So I'm neither cold nor hot with the artwork. And the design of the game board is nice. I kind of wish this board game came with additional terrain and stuff as opposed to the lore book and some other little random gadgets. I wish it actually came with a little bit of stand-up pop-up terrain as well, which is from the Upzone. Honestly, if you want to pick up Monster International and you like the IP, I'd strongly suggest getting the Upzone, so that way you have more to play with, more to do. Things like the rules that are include stairs, climbing up stairs and getting into like higher places, as well as the cover rules and whatnot. It makes the game definitely more complex, adds more strategy to it, and gives you the ability to kind of make your own world of this tactics game. This plays as kind of a light Warhammer style game, for those of you who haven't played a basic tactics game. But if you have, you know this game. You've seen this game before, you understand how the game works. It's more about the IP and the unique character design and some of the unique aspects of combat, as well as the bonus unique game modes. So, Monster Hunter International, do I like this game? Like, yeah, I do. This is a nice starting point to jump into a tactics game. It's a way to teach people how to customize boards for a basic tactics game. There's enough variability in just this board alone, this game alone. There's another one, I believe, that has additional characters that you can play with for additional content, where you have more additional characters. And because the characters are so fun and unique in their own way, it made the game a lot of fun. Like, I was enjoying myself thoroughly as we played the game, but it's very basic. It's very simplistic as far as a tactics game goes. And the rules, the lore book and the character abilities are just, I wish they were a little more fleshed out. So I'm going to give this one a right down the middle for me. I think if you're a fan of Monster Hunter International, it's one that you probably want to pick up. If you're looking for a standard tactics game with some unique aspects to it and something that you can lean into as far as the lore goes and whatnot, this is also one that might be considered pick up. But if you're looking for something heavy and deep and really well-rounded, this might not be for you. Overall, solid right down the middle game. Monster Hunter International. Definitely pick up Upzone if you're looking for this game to play. And also, maybe I would recommend this over this in general, just because this has so many different tactics that you can use it with, or tassa, I don't know the word for it. Anyway, there you go, Monster International. Let's take it out. Thank you guys for watching another Unfiltered Gamer board game review for the game Monster Hunter International, the miniatures game by Everything Epic. If you're looking to pick this game up, there's a link down below in the description, and I do recommend you include terrain in some way to spice this game up. as well as, of course, the live stream we have every Sunday at 7:30 p.m. PST, where you can see us play games just like this one here. And in fact, this would be a good one to show on stream because you can show all the different tactile aspects to the game and unique customizations to the game and get a good sense of whether this is one for you to pick up or not. I think for those of you who enjoy the IP Monster Hunter International, it's probably one that you're going to enjoy. It does a good job of explaining the different lore of the characters and the storyline and the aspects of like the evil lady, the wizard lady that like controls everything, but she's not like super strong. She just is like a power magnet battery. I mean, I looked at all of them. I think the gnomes are the coolest. They're like gangster gnomes that while they're not the most bulky, they are definitely stealthy, and I love their abilities too. Some of these characters' abilities are great. Anyway, all right guys, thank you so much for watching. And as always, I look forward to getting a haircut really soon. I'm playing Monster International with you next time.